If you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you can do to help the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Hey guys, Matt Butler here at the Basement Studio, and the track you just heard in the video you saw with me playing all the different instruments was cut on one particular preamp today that we're going to talk about. And full disclosure, there's no endorsement here or anything like that. This is just my own opinion on this product. Also, in the video, I want to make it clear that everything was recorded completely flat. No compression or post EQ or anything like that. It's just a static mix with it blended in so you could hear how the preamp sounds on its own with no extra coloration. I did use one of my active basses, so there was some onboard EQ there that's just there all the time. But there was nothing post. I wasn't running through any other analog gear or any software plugins, anything like that. It was just set the gain and let's see what it does. And so without further ado, here is the Auteur desktop version. And we're just going to talk today a little bit about the pros and cons of it for me and what I like about it. And we'll start with the fact that it's only $229 and it's Blackline Audio. It kind of goes without saying. Their stuff just speaks for itself. It usually sounds fantastic. Quality control is always good. And it's evident in this too, because the knob just feels hefty. It's smooth. There's a lot of resistance. The buttons feel good. The casing and the siding's beautiful. And if you look inside, it looks like any other Blackline Audio piece of gear. It's just so neat and pristine inside and well presented. And, you know, it says made in China on the back, but you get this in your hands and you go over it and look, and it's really impressive how well this stuff's built for the money and the price points that they can find. And I wanted to test it and kind of over the frequency spectrum. So we got bass on there to really push the lows and see how it handles the lows. The electric guitar is one clean, one driven. So we can kind of really push that mid-range. And then the acoustic guitar to kind of look into some of the subtleties of the preamp and how it handles the high end. And I love the way it sounds. The top end has a very honest feel to it. The acoustic had a lot of detail. It handled driven tone really well. The bass was really full and bottom, fat in the bottom end. And I have nothing bad to say about the sound of it. The only downsides for me are I wish it wasn't a wall wart. I wish that it wasn't just a 1/4 inch on the output here. I wish it had an XLR version, and I wish there was a way to control and attenuate the output so you could really drive the input here. It has a 10 dB input pad, but still, even when you want to drive it hard without any type of attenuation, you still have to watch for your meters going into your recording device. It also has phantom power. It also has polarity inversion, and obviously the DI. That's how I track the bass through the high impedance DI on it. So, I mean, really, there's very little negative to say about this because it sounds so good. And I understand to get it to a $229 price point, you're going to have some compromises in as far as features go. But this thing sounds so good, and it's got a transistor front end and a custom wound output transformer. That's where it gets its sound here. I would be willing to pay, $299 instead of $229 if it had some type of output attenuation and at least a balanced XLR out. And I can handle the wall wart. They can be a pain sometimes. But this unit's very quiet. There's I like the acoustic. I had it up pretty high on the gain, and the noise floor was very, negligible. So really, this thing's great. You're kind of, you're nitpicking to find anything bad about it because it sounds so good. And at $229, I mean, I'd have no issues with a studio full of these, especially with just a couple of modifications to it. So yeah, if you're in the market for a good sounding desktop preamp that has some nice color to it, definitely the color for me is definitely more on the low end when you push the transformer. The top end's very true and honest to me. It's got a really nice detail to the upper mid range and the highs. So yeah, this is a great preamp, and if you're looking for something like this in the market for something to add a few extra channels and you're low on space or don't have rack units or things like that, this is a great option.